Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Generator Skills Impact Series. I'm Ann Nadell, and I'm our Skills Accelerator Vice President. And I am really excited to welcome Lori to our conversation today. Hi, Lori.
Hello, how are you today?
I am doing great. And as I mentioned, I'm excited to share more with you and about you in our Skills Impact Series. And I would love to just jump in and get started. If you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Perfect. Well, my name is Lori, and I am a respiratory therapist by trade. So I started out young in the field of healthcare, but I've worked my way all the way through my associates, my bachelor's, and my master's degree. Um, I'm a respiratory therapist by trade. So the COVID pandemic, was very hard on respiratory therapists. In May of 2022, I was the director of a small department in a rural community, and I was burnt out. I was looking for something different. So had some things that I needed to do. I needed to reset, maybe step away, and um, here I am. After looking at what I needed to do, I decided to actually quit my job and find something different. So,
Wow, that's amazing. And first and foremost, thank you and to all the nurses and doctors during the pandemic. Obviously, that was an incredibly challenging time for all of us, but most specifically for y'all and those that were involved. So thank you very much for your work with that.
so
Um,
happy to serve.
I'd love for you to share with us kind of like, as you mentioned in your introduction, you have an associate's and a bachelor's and a master's degree, and you took our Generator Skills program. So share with us kind of like what led you to the Skills Accelerator program?
Like I said, I was looking for something different. I knew I had a lot of my own skills that I could offer somebody, but I needed somehow to refine those skills and make me more marketable in something different. So when I started looking, I found Accelerator Skills. Not gonna lie, um, the free thing was I'm a little skeptical, always have been.
We hear
So
that a
it
lot.
it took me it took me a lot to actually first of all, I gave my spam email that I give to everybody. So
Okay.
it was because I wasn't going to give my real email and then get, you know, all these unnecessary things and get like roped in for, a big price tag. So when I started looking and I found generator, and it was a fluke. It was maybe a godsend that I found it, because I was, like I said, at a point where I needed to reset. I found generator skills. I applied, was a little nervous. The first one that I took was project management, and the reason why I took that is because I knew that I had some skills from my experience and from my degrees that if I had a project management certificate, that could help me move forward doing things outside of bedside care. So, um, but like I said, what really threw me was, is it really free? I can guarantee you all it was really free. It has been really free. And not only is it free, but it gives you so much more added value. I just can't even tell people how much more added value I have because of going through these programs. So,
Well, thank you so much for bringing that up and really specifically speaking about the free part, because to be honest, we do, as I mentioned, we get that a lot. People say it's too good to be true. There must be a catch. And we do our best to let everyone know that, there truly is no catch. We provide this program to all of our participants at no cost to the participant because we are specifically funded in other ways, whether that be through corporate philanthropic dollars or state or federal funding. And that's specifically because we know that there's a lot of individuals out there who would really benefit from these skills, but don't necessarily have the funding or necessarily the time to kind of enter into a traditional education experience. And so, we also get that a lot of people do give us their spam emails originally, and we work our way into your actual personal space. And so we are very grateful that you gave us a chance and that you ultimately received value from the program. You mentioned that you did two tracks. So you started with project management, and you're an OG alum back in 2022, and then in
mhm.
2025 you ended up taking another one of our courses. Can you talk to a little? Can you speak to both programs a little bit for us?
So the program management, I took it because I was looking at, like I said, doing something overhead. I'm a big operations person, and so I needed to use those skills. And being a project manager has been, it was amazing how much I thought I knew, but I didn't really know. But when you put that certification and that specific training to project management, put me point on to find a spot where I needed to be. The other one I took was the IT help desk. I took that because I was looking for something part-time. Um, I don't know. At this day and age, you always need to have a side gig, something on the side. So I was looking for something on the side gig as a side gig. Went back, took that, and was able to actually secure some little part-time online positions that have been beneficial to um, me and my family financially so that we can do extra things that we never would have done. So.
That's fantastic. And so tell us a little bit about your experience in the program. We know you worked with one of our amazing program managers, Kevin. And you mentioned earlier that, there were some intangible value adds to the program, but kind of talk to us a little bit about what your experience was in the program and what you got out of it.
So like Ann said, Kevin was amazing. He when I would be discouraged, he'd be like, "Don't get discouraged. We'll get you something. We'll find you something." Always a uplifter. Sometimes when you've been in management roles and you're always the cheerleader, you need a cheerleader for you. And I felt like Kevin was not only my cheerleader but my support. He was at my elbows per se, going through different things. He helped me to see my potential. I mean, so when I first started, I was like, oh, I don't know. I'd like to make at least 50,000 a year. He's like, oh, we're going to get you way more than that. And we did. I mean, so, but, and one thing that's amazing about gener8tor is when you're alumni, you're not done. I mean, I reach out to Kevin about every 3 months saying, hey, here's a new resume, because I am always looking for that, what I call the blue whale position that, is huge, fits all my needs, pays me $1 million to work 30 minutes.
Yes,
you
love it.
know, but so I'm always updating my resume. Kevin is more than happy to look at it. Um, gener8tor offers monthly, I don't know, I would call it upskilling, so that like if you want to do a another mock interview. If you got an interview scheduled, you can do a mock interview. The job board resource is amazing. Uh, Kevin has been great. He was like, "Hey, maybe you want to look at this," or "Hey, why don't you check out this position? I think you would do good at this." So just the support you get is amazing. I mean, the mock interviews, the guys that I work with, mock interviews, my resume revisions. I mean, everything's been just amazing. So.
I I appreciate you sharing that even about alumni because as we, once individuals graduate from our program, we do always say that, this is not a goodbye, it's a see you later. And we are here to support you throughout your entire journey and to hear how both proactive and responsive Kevin is to your alumni needs is just music to our ears. And we're really happy to hear about that. And definitely wishing you good luck in finding the blue whale opportunity. It's probably out there and just, we'll come around one of these days and you'll be obviously ready for it because you're so on top of things. Um,
Yeah.
so share with us a little bit about how did the program kind of help you in your next step? So you took the project management career track, and so were you able to find a role after that?
I was. So, and I actually was getting kind of discouraged, and I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
Applying for a new job is a job in itself, and it's probably a more than a full-time job.
Yes, we
Um,
completely understand that, which is why you need
one
a
of the
cheerleader.
right, exactly, and that was one of the things that Kevin encouraged me on. He's like, "Okay, you've got to set boundaries because." Um, as a Gen Xer, we don't always set boundaries. So you get up and you work from, 6 o'clock in the morning till 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and you do the same thing the next day. So um, I had to set boundaries. So, and one of my biggest challenges for me was believing in me. So even though I had all these accomplishments, I didn't believe in my skills. I didn't believe in my abilities. And was I capable of being a project manager? Um, so the first project that I led was in healthcare in my background, but it was in education. Um, so I was hired as the project manager for a respiratory therapy program in a small rural community college. We had nothing. I started with a laptop and a blank desk.
Wow.
So I had to develop it from the ground up. I mean, so I had to work with all of my stakeholders. I had to, not only was it developing the program, but it was getting the supplies, building the lab, um, building the curriculum, getting the students, so with healthcare, you have to have what we call clinical sites. So you have to have places where students can go to practice. So I had to work with all of those stakeholders. I secured 35 different clinical sites for the students to be able to go to, which was a feat in itself. But that also speaks to some of my background and some of my networking.
And your
Generator
skills.
skills. I mean, it is a skill. I mean, in generator, um, I mean, so I've done a couple of other things for generator besides, talking to you, Anne.
Mhm.
I got invited to talk at the entrepreneurs presentation a year ago in December, and when I got up there and said, this is generators, this is one side of generator, but this is the side of generator that I know. It helped me network even more and gain more. I mean, and there's always somebody that knows somebody that
Yeah,
can help you. So you're only
absolutely.
four people away. So, um, but with that big project, I completed it. So it normally for a college to become accredited or a curriculum to become accredited, it takes about 3 years. I completed it in 20 months. And the reason why I
Wow.
completed it in 20 months is because I had the project management background. I mean, I knew I could be a respiratory therapist, but I didn't know how I could do it. But generator skills showed me how to put it together, use my stakeholders, get my risks, fight, I mean, and stay on track. That's the big thing, and how do you do it? Do you do a waterfall effect? Do you do a wheel effect? I mean, and the software you use. I mean, there's a lot of different softwares out there. So, and if I hadn't had taken generators accelerator, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I can tell you that for sure. So,
Wow.
um,
Congratulations to your point where it typically takes 3 years. I mean, becoming accredited is a feat unto itself just to go through the process, but to not only have gone through it in record amount of time is absolutely phenomenal and not only speaks to, the skills that you brought to the table, but the skills also that you're speaking of that you got from the program, and kind of knowing what the next steps were to take with regards to what software to use, what would be the most impactful here, how do I move through this with the conversation with my stakeholders, all skills that you do learn in our project management course.
absolutely. Yeah. So my project completed, and I actually, so they actually had their first graduating class, and I knew at that point in time I didn't want to be a teacher. I mean, so I could have continued on and taught in the respiratory therapy program, but that's not what I wanted to do. So that's when I decided to go on to the IT side of it.
Wow.
So again, I stepped back, um, learned a lot about after the pandemic that you have to kind of reset and regroup every so often. So I reset myself. I went through the IT help desk, got some part-time jobs, and just kind of enjoyed life for a little bit longer, I
Nice.
guess.
That's amazing.
So um, I think going through both of the programs has proven to me that I can do something um, outside of healthcare, which is I never thought I'd be able to. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, so like all of my degrees are in healthcare, so but they apply to other things besides healthcare. So,
Absolutely. And that's one of the beauties of our program is that, you bring in your background, but then it opens up new possibilities based on what your skills are from the background, plus the skills that you're learning, and it kind of amplifies into something completely different. But
oh
also
yeah,
you taking this first steps to do that and to then to move into the IT space is also just phenomenal.
well, that's where IT is at, or that's where the future is at, is in IT. So where I live, we have some of the biggest data centers.
Yes.
So Microsoft data center is in my backyard. Meta, We have another big one that's in controversy right now.
Yeah.
It's all in the news, so nationwide. But um, I know this is where we're going, and I don't want to be left behind.
Yeah.
So
That's
that was one of the reasons why I did it. So.
fantastic. And you spoke a little bit about how, the going in through the IT brought your ability to do some extra things with your family, but kind of overall, what would you say the impact of you going through our programs was kind of like on yourself and your family?
Um, I'm no longer the blonde IT girl. Just shut it up and start it again. I can actually help. I mean, and I
Love
actually
it.
know when something goes wrong. And I know that sounds funny, but
No,
truly, I
that's
mean,
true.
I've worked with computers my whole life. And but I was always like, I was the one calling the IT desk. Hey, this is going on. What can you do? And now I'm like, oh, this is going on. So I know I can do XYZ and fix my own problem.
That is
So,
fantastic. I love hearing that. So what advice would you give to someone who's thinking of joining a program like ours?
um, make sure you stay on task. Okay, so there are modules that you have to follow. It's not a one and done. You have to follow along. You have to stay on task. If you get behind, it's really hard to catch up. I am a checkbox girl, so the more checkboxes I complete, the better off I feel.
Love it.
But I have had a couple. I've recommended Generator to a couple of other people. A couple of other people have went through it. I had one friend that really struggled because he got behind,
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay, you have to treat it like a job. I mean, yes, you have another job on the side, but this is your part-time job and you have to treat it like such. And you have to show up. You have to punch the time clock. You have to do it. So don't get behind, because if you get behind, you're going to miss out on some things, and you're going to miss out on developing good things. So, and the next thing I would recommend, if you're doing it for a certification, don't wait.
Great advice.
You complete the program, schedule that test, take it as soon as possible, because you forget things really fast.
Such great
Um,
advice. Absolutely.
I mean, so like if you complete it August 15th, don't wait till September 15th to take the test. Do it before the end of the month. Schedule it right away. Don't just graduate and then not practice. I mean, you gotta practice those skills so you know what is going to be on the test. Take advantage of all of the opportunities that Generator gives you. I mean, they'll give you some testing things to take. They'll give you some videos to watch on how to take the test and things like that. But that's probably my biggest thing is don't wait, because the same um, friend that had issues keeping up waited about 3 months before he scheduled his test and had to take it a couple different times. Another big bonus about Generator, when I did it, I don't know if this is still the truth, but they paid for my CompTIA test. They paid for
Absolutely.
it.
Yep, still
Um,
do.
it is anywhere from $1,800 to $3,500 to take this test. It's huge.
Yeah.
Um, so don't wait, because they'll only pay for it once. I mean, and then you have to pay for it the second time. So don't wait. That's probably my biggest thing. Don't wait and don't procrastinate. So,
I
um,
love that. I think to your point, it's one of these things where, as you mentioned, if you're already working, this is a lot of work. We don't shy away from the fact that like you have to put a lot of energy and effort and time into it. But when you do put that time in, it allows you to really utilize and learn these new skills and then ultimately walk away with a industry recognized credential, passing those exams and then utilizing that for the next roles that you're looking at. So I love the fact that you say stay on top of everything to the best of your ability and also then reach out to your coach if you do need
yeah,
help with that, because that's also absolutely what our coaches are here for, to help kind of like people stay on task, to make sure that if you do need accommodations, we can provide those for you. But ultimately, you, the individual, has to be the one who really is moving forward.
right. And with the resources that Generator offers, the personnel resources. So there were some, like I said, I was the blonde IT, just shut it off and turn it back on. Um, there were some things that I struggled with. I'm gonna be honest with you. There were some things that I struggled with, and I reached out to the resources. Kevin helped me find who I needed to talk to in order to understand things more. So you're not, even though you're doing it independently, you're not on an island. You're not by yourself. It's a village,
Yeah.
and the village will help you.
Oh,
So.
that is beautiful, Lori. And it kind of leads us into our final question is if you could share one message with our audience, what would that be?
It doesn't matter how much schooling you have underneath you, you can always learn more, as I did. Um, if you can't afford to do some of the certifications that are out there, Generator Skills is an amazing program that is free. Like I said, I'm a skeptic, and I was very skeptical about that free thing, but it is free, and they provide so much information and valuable learning for you. Um, I'm so glad that I leapt into it and did it. I don't regret any of the time I spent learning from Generator. Some of the connections that I've made. So I have a couple of people that were in my very first project management group back in 2022 that I still stay in contact with. Um,
Thing.
and so you're not alone. I mean, and like I said, the village is amazing. So
Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience, your expertise, and your inspiration. To everybody else, thank you so much for being here with us, and we hope that we'll see you again soon, Lori. Perhaps there'll be another showcase or something like that that we can do in Wyoming. So we'll keep you posted
I
for
would
sure.
love that. I would love that.
Yes.
Or Northern Colorado. I
Okay.
mean, I love to talk this up because this program is amazing. So
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Lori.
you're welcome. Thanks for having me.